Hello, everybody. Welcome to another daily dose of gaming news, PC hardware, all that good stuff. So let's get started. Not much happening today. Just an announcement, basically, from at least hardware stuff. The X3D CPUs from AMD. They're supposedly going to launch around February 14, which is Valentine's Day. Here it is. The information where it came out. It's from their own site. Um, Not much to talk about. No prices here announced. Same old, same old. Just a quick recap: the non-X versions are way cheaper, as you can see here. And if you use the PBO, basically like in the BIOS, it's like a toggle switch. Um, you can get almost the same performance on the X versions. That's why basically they launched the X versions first, because the non-X they consume less power, so they are TDP bound. I think even the temperatures can reach are lower, but at least in terms of gaming, by out of the box, the performance is the same, a little or around that. Sometimes like the difference is negligible, like 2 to 4%, maximum 5%. Only in production, and you can see some differences here, mainly because of how it handles the instructions and everything else. But you can reach almost the same performance with that PBO stuff. Supposedly now the X3D ones are going to be way better, at least for gaming. Even though the clocks are a little bit lower, but that it's expected when they increase the L cache and how it's used and everything else. They have to the boost the clocks and the boost clocks. Usually they lower a little bit, and supposedly the TP it's a little bit less also. But in terms of how it performs, at least in gaming wise, it will be way better. I assume that this one is going to be preferable here. Because I don't see much gains here on gaming wise, because usually CPUs use the cache itself. You don't, if you see gains, you don't see. I don't think, this is my opinion, I don't think you will see like huge boosts on gaming frame rates. But they are good for these high-end CPUs are good for production. Some production processes, because some of them can take use of that cache. The only doubt that people usually have here regarding these new the X3D ones is how, because they are basically two chiplets and the cache is only in one of them. It's how they are going to use the instruction setting here to take advantage of that, to use the correct chiplet for to use that extra cache. But basically that's it, the only kind of worry that people have. But the rest, okay, it's 14th of February, we'll see. I will wait for the reviews to give you more info about it, and also regarding the performance and the price. Now we have like a a strange story here, which is this bizarre VR microphone, which sounds like a cork for your mouth. I don't know what to tell you. The images speak by themselves. Supposedly this is a VR microphone for you to, I don't know. It's like for the headphones you have the sound suppressing stuff. Oh my god, how it calls the thing that isolates the environment sounds, but for a microphone, which really doesn't make sense, because you want to use this kind of equipment in a private setting. Usually you don't go around with VR headsets in the street, and with this microphone to get, I don't know, sound isolation. And also you have decent microphones for the price of this device, like $200. You can get way better, good microphones that have more applications, instead of putting it inside your mouth, basically. I don't know what to tell you about this. Strange things happen in the world of tech, and this is one of them. Now, we're going to turn up to games. And before we turn up to games, I'm sorry, I didn't bring up the site here. The, there seems to have more coverage regarding I talked yesterday, the AMD drivers. There is a worry that those new AMD drivers might really, because of the story that I covered regarding the 6800 and 6900 chips broken and cards dying. The only main threat there was that they all happened basically after they upgraded the Adrenaline software to the latest version. And my recommendation still remains, until we get more information and certainty of the situation, is to roll back the drivers when you can, if you have one of these GPUs, because supposedly it's only happening in this 6000 series. Please just roll back the drivers just in case, because it might not be the cause, but there is a slight possibility of some drivers, and especially how AMD drivers work. They can circumvent the BIOS settings of the GPU itself, and they can. One of the things that might happen is they remove like the temperature check, so it might go up suddenly, and the GPU might die. But yeah, now for gamings, supposedly Ubisoft is not in a great shape starting this year. I think they have like an emergency investors call, something like that, and basically they for the 5th or 6th time they are going to delay Skull and Bones, and then cancel another 3 announced games, challenging market situations. Yeah, when you start doing games like I told you with X amount of versions of the game, then you put just microtransactions, people will stop playing games, because there is not enough money in the world for them to satisfy their greed when it comes with this kind of games. Plus there is like franchise tiredness, at least I don't play this. I've not been playing these games for a few years now, and I just get tired of, like, every year you have the one Assassin's Creed game, then we have a Far Cry game. It's too much. It's too much games from the same franchise. Then you have always the same thing, and people get tired of the same thing. With a different skin, a different visual style, but if the game play core of the game it's the same, people get tired. Even like story-wise, the last one that I think had something worth mentioning was, for example, Far Cry 4. Assassin's Creed's not too much, because they stopped a little bit on the annual releasing. I think they were kind of decent, the last 2 ones, from what I gather. Even though Vikings, Assassin's Creed, the Viking one, at least from my point of view, it seemed that they insisted too much on the game. They overextended the game itself, tried to, I don't know, milk out the game, even though the game seems okay. In terms of how the story goes about it, I'm not sure. But since they disconnected themselves from like the main arc story, from Altair to the other guy in the medieval Renaissance age, Ezio Auditore. Since they disconnected that from the main thing out of the virtual world per se, the game seems to lost a little bit of spark. It didn't go anywhere, so it's a little bit disappointing how they dealt with these games. And then Ubisoft also, I'm not sure if they have the Division. They are owners of the Division IP. I think it's Ubisoft. It's the publisher, if not mistaken. Yeah, all of these kind of games, and you don't treat them properly, people will stop playing them. I don't know. I saw a lot of this thing with Mario's plus Rabbids. I never understood this kind of game. Just Dance is not like a huge franchise. I don't know what they were thinking. Just because I saw this a lot, this Mario plus Rabbids and whatever. I don't know, but yeah, they are basically toning down a little bit. I think there are going to be some layoffs here. They are trying to focus more on certain games or certain franchises. There's some statements here from Yves Guillemot and the CFO also, this Frédéric Duguay. We'll see how it goes. I think they are just dealing the Skull and Bones because they sunk a lot of money on this one, and even the presentation videos, they are not good. I don't like it. And I think in a big picture of things of gaming, I see a lot of I don't know. We will see how it goes. I don't want to go in a rant here. But in other news, at least good news, MechWarrior game is in development. Should be out in 2025. I think it was in a podcast. Piranha Games CEO mentioned that they're launching the new DLC for MechWarrior 5. I never paid attention to this game. I saw some reviews just for this article, and they are okay-ish. Graphics wise, not that good even when it came out. The gameplay loop seems okay-ish also, but there is not like a lot of depth in the gameplay itself, because I think they were trying to focus a little bit too much on co-op and multiplayer aspects, I think. We will see if the new one, and given that they have now competition from Armored Core 6 that will come out this year, we hope that at least they take some points here, because I think Armored Core 6 will be very, very good for all intents and purposes. I'm a little bit biased, but I think we might get some competition. It's good regarding these games, so people take points on what people like to play, depending on what kind of game they are playing. And I will wrap up here with my wish list here. I mentioned this like 2 or 3 days ago. These 3 games, the Bioshock Remastered, Bioshock 2 Remastered, and Marvel Midnight Suns. I think these Bioshock are still available until in 3 more days. They are still in promotion. And Midnight Suns also, like, I think it's finishing the 17th or 16th of this month. I will leave links on the pages itself if you want to check them out and you are interested in replaying or playing for the first time. The remastered versions are like reworked with the better visuals, and Midnight Suns just came out and they have DLC launching throughout the year, I think. Very good game from what I'm seeing. I've been following up Christopher Sod's gameplay of the Dark Hunter path here, and I really enjoy it. When I can, I will do, but a more light version, so I can have the other side of the story. But basically that's it, guys. I will wrap up here today with my GoGet funding for me to upgrade my PC and bring more and better content for my private clients, especially starting to do some video stuff there. And of course, in my free spare time, continue to do the videos that I've been doing, and also resuming my gameplays. And basically, guys, with all that said, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, Kunamy Master out.